welcome, welcome. This is the way that we connect everything we're doing right now to everybody that came before us. The struggle, every struggle that our ancestors have gone through, we are now connecting with them and asking for their strength as we go on this journey right now. This is Juneteenth. When was the Emancipation Proclamation signed? I'm gonna see who know their history. 1863. So while we celebrate 1865, our ancestors in some parts of this country were still slaves when others were free just because nobody told them yet. So those are the struggles we take, and that's why we celebrate Juneteenth. All right, so what y'all know about tap dance? Yeah, see, now some people looked up like, oh, what's that? So I'm glad you think so, I appreciate it. So look, tap dance is another thing that, as a lot of things right now, have gone under the scrutiny of being co-opted by a white supremacist society. Somehow people have tried to co-opt tap dance and say it came from Ireland. Tap dance is black on black on black on black.
Just to be able to say, like, my name is Nico Rubio, I'm in Mad Rhythms, was like a badge of honor.
Mad Rhythms has definitely helped me in a lot of areas that I'm forever grateful for.
It give you advice about our history, about tap's history, about our African culture, about our skin color and how much power it has behind it.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven rings. Ring with the harmonies of liberties. Let our rejoicings rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, God who has brought us far on the way, God who has by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path we pray, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our heart, drunk of the wine of the world, you forgave thee, shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land.
My name is Bimbaji Tillman. I'm a musician, songwriter, and producer. The arts have been a part of my life since birth. And what I know is that learning is always more engaging when the arts are involved. I've mastered many instruments, played and produced for Grammy Award-winning artists, and toured all over the world. However, the most fulfilling thing to me is when a child is inspired by performing arts. Not just on the stage, but behind the scenes. My sister and I grew up watching classic theater and memorizing lines to all the great black films. Hollywood Shuffle and Five Heartbeats and Sparkle and Spike Lee films and Purple Rain and all the just big, flashy, big musical type movies. The key to building a generation of leaders is exposure and opportunity. At the Harold Washington Cultural Center, we use performing arts to engage young people with critical thinking. Experience is the best teacher. Blending and supporting one another, youth from various socioeconomic backgrounds come together to learn the true value of teamwork. There are no big I's or little U's. We reach over 25,000 youths per year through shows, teen summits, field trips, graduation art programs, and curriculums. We show them that not only are these options for careers, but entrepreneurship. Log on to BroadwayInBronzeville.com to see just how you can get involved. It's not a moment. It's a movement.
The state of the Harold Washington Cultural Center is the reason we are all gathered here today. We must thank our ancestors for paving the way. Our brown skin and melanin produces a hue that is oh so beautiful. I think of brown men like William James Brown, James Brown, and William Wells Brown. They all took a leap of faith in this performance thing, launching theaters and writing shows like Shotaway and publishing all respectively during the 1800s. Now, we have those brown boys, Dante and Dusan, who are blazing a trail in 2020 on Hollywood and Broadway. But not just on stage. You see, they are also writing, producing, and directing. The Harold Washington Cultural Center had to make a way when there was no way. And today they continue to fight, but not just for themselves, but to create opportunities for artists, arts organizations, and venues, both here and abroad. You see, I have had the opportunity to travel to 3 different countries and counting, all because of their commitment to the arts. The Harlem Renaissance, we all know that. But the Renaissance that the Harold Washington Cultural Center is embarking upon will revolutionize theater around the world. You see, we stand on the shoulders of Ruby Dee, Lorraine Hansberry, Amiri Baraka, Ed Bullens, August Wilson, Abina Brown, and the list goes on and on and on. You see, the arts are a part of the success of many civilizations, and so we should empower our leaders and embrace our institutions, expand, develop 100-year plans. You see, we represent the power of the arts. We are making change. Now is the time, and today is the day. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Jimelita Tillman is Global Director of Programs and Operations of the Harold Washington Cultural Center and Executive Producer of Broadway in Bronzeville. She attended DePaul University, pursuing studies in theater management and international marketing. Tillman has received training in theater operations from North Shore Country Day School, Pontifical Catholic University of Rio de Janeiro, and ETA Theater. She holds certifications in board development from the University of Chicago Graham School of Business and in philanthropy and nonprofits from Northwestern University. Tillman is a recipient of the 40 Under 40 Game Changers Award and was recognized by the Congressional Black Caucus for her contributions to live musical theater and performing arts in Chicago. She was also recognized by the Congressional Black Caucus for her dedication and commitment to arts advocacy. As the Global Director of the Harold Washington Cultural Center, Tillman has been certified and trained in risk management and emergency preparedness through the Arts Ready program. With this training, she provides global arts institutions with risk management and emergency preparedness workshops. In 2018, Tillman launched Broadway in Bronzeville Beyond Borders, a production and arts outreach program which has traveled to over 12 countries and U.S. territories, where she developed arts curriculum with academic leaders by engaging in cultural exchange. Cities toured by Broadway in Bronzeville Beyond Borders include Paris, Toronto, London, Cape Town, South Africa, Nassau, Bahamas, and the cities of Camagua and Holguin in Cuba. Jimelita Tillman is the youngest child of civil rights icon and former alderman Dorothy Wright Tillman, and the mother of child prodigy Dorothy Jean Tillman, who earned double master's degrees in environmental science and sustainable science at the age of 14. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Ms. Jimelita Tillman.
On behalf of our board of directors, arts partners, staff, volunteer, and students, we thank you for joining us today for the State of the Harold Washington Cultural Center address. I am Jimelita Tillman, Global Director of the Harold Washington Cultural Center, and we're thrilled to have you today. We thank Ian Archer and Kylie Brown, Analog Soul, for that amazing piece and that wonderful rendition of James Weldon Johnson's Lift Every Voice and Sing. Ian's a triple threat, and he's on to some great things. We also appreciate Kylie Brown, as she's one of our teaching artists, teaching poetries in the school. But we'll touch on that a little later. The Harold Washington Cultural Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization committed to children, community, and culture. Here at the Harold Washington Cultural Center, we have a 1,000-seat theater, a full-service recording studio, a video editing lab, a computer lab, and 3 dance studios, one specifically equipped for tap as well as ballet. We have 2 multi-purpose rooms that are able to be used for all your virtual needs. Here at the Harold Washington Cultural Center, we follow all the rules and regulations when it comes to social distancing and make sure that we take the extra step and the extra care as we host our classes and our various circle times that we do during our arts therapy. 2020 has been a turbulent time for all industries. The performing arts sector was namingly hit very hard, as we were the first to close, and it seems as though we're going to be the last to open. But alas, all is not lost. There is a beacon of light, of brightness at the end of the tunnel. We are not experiencing anything unlike what, say, William Henry Brown or Williams Well Brown or even James Brown in the 1800s had to endure as they were launching their production companies and putting on their shows. Today is the day, and now is the time. In spite of budgetary constraints at the Harold Washington Cultural Center, we continue to use the arts as a positive impact on at-risk youth, to deter them from behaviors that can put them in positions less than what they deserve. Studies have shown that the younger one is introduced to the arts, the more that they are likely to advance in whatever field or endeavor they embark upon. A lot has been done in the lane of and virtual learning, but there's so much more that we can do. The arts component has been lacking to have that access to every single student within the e-learning process. We at the Harold Washington Cultural Center are striving to reconnect that through our partnerships and through our programs. One thing that we found as we participated in the study is that the arts reach students who might otherwise have slipped through the cracks. The arts also reach students who have different learning styles, and the arts create a feeling of connection and cooperation between the students. The arts create an avenue for discovery and exploration. Due to these findings, we have continued to work closely with homeschool moms, public schools, and private schools alike to develop and provide them with more arts programming. We are looking to expand into more schools, and with our tap, ballet, modern, poetry, theater, voice, the courses go on and on that we are looking to offer, both synchronous and asynchronous. We launched our virtual field trip program this year during the COVID, and students in CPS had access to our past shows, but we had live Q&As with members of the production team, the cast members, and those involved in technology. We're very proud of that. A lot of professional development came forth. Finally, we created a professional performing arts development module open to all ages and all levels to assist them with navigating the virtual creative opportunity during these times. We plan to expand our programs in 2021 with the launch of a platform that will be uniting the industries, that will be combining the opportunities of those that are professional and those that are aspiring to enter into the world of entertainment. It seems like just yesterday we began to embark upon our 12-country tour, where we would go into countries and we would work with young people on page to stage, how to write a production. We would produce a show in the local market, as well as work closely with arts institutions and arts educators on developing curriculum. Alas, COVID has caused us to have to take a step back and pause, pivot, and retool things. However, we may not be able to be on those foreign lands at this time, but we are able to do things through Zoom and virtual content, as well as just keeping one another uplifted. Prior to the pandemic, we had some amazing activities that went on. We partnered with the NBA, with UTA and Clutch Sports, and Chance the Rapper's nonprofit organization SocialWorks to engage with over 2,500 students in a highly immersive and interactive leadership event. Many high school students determined that they wanted to embark upon their entrepreneurial endeavors and were motivated with the call to action for community activism, and it was good. The Harold Washington Cultural Center also participated in the U.S. Congressional State of Affairs for Performing Arts. We're very proud of that. It was a way to get our venues back on track. We joined in membership with the National Independent Venue Association, as well as the Chicago Independent Venue League. Many of you know that we were already a member of the League of Chicago Theater, and we decided to take a leadership role in crafting and carving legislation that is right now before Congress, which is called our Save Our Stages. Becoming a member of these various organizations created alliances across the city and across the country with independent venue owners. The Harold Washington Cultural Center is the largest black-owned theater in the country and one of the largest community-owned theaters in the world. And of that, we're very, very, very proud of it. Left and right, we're seeing doors have to close without being able to open. And we open our arms and we open our doors to those arts organizations and institutions who have shuttered under the pandemic time. The Harold Washington Cultural Center, we also curated a safety circle for playwrights and producers attempting to navigate their way through virtual stage environments. We hosted a socially distant in-person performing arts in science, technology, engineering, and arts summer camp fall program through partnership with the Dorothy Genius Educational Leadership Institute, Ada S. McKinley, and Jack Wiest of the Alternative Schools Network. Finally, we hosted the very first known International Tap Summit virtually here at the Harold Washington Cultural Center. People were dancing all over the globe, and we're very proud of Mad Rhythms and Brill Barrett for accomplishing that task. Good job, Brill. After all of that, we are pressing forward. We are excited about the programming for 2021. We must continue to abide by the rules put forth by the governor and the mayor as it pertains to social distancing and the ordinances that are in place for the safety of our patrons, our staff, and our crew. We have successfully joined, under the guidance of our board of directors, the National Coalition of Arts Preparedness and Emergency Response, known as NCAPER. Now, this coalition is a voluntary task force of national, regional, state, local arts institutions and organizations, cultural funders, as well as arts business, and we have the capacity and the ability to respond effectively to disasters and emergencies affecting the art and culture sector. You can find out more about this on our website, BroadwayInBronzeville.com. Now, we know that we all long to return back to our stages as they were before March 11th, 2020. While some activities may have resumed and there still is much uncertainty about when and how the safety of the reopening will happen based on the science around the COVID-19 and the pandemic, but as it evolves, we are optimistic that we will revive more resilient and more robust than ever before. Effective health and safety protocols are essential for a successful event. And we plan to have customized activities to reflect the user's unique need, challenges, opportunities, and jurisdictional requirements when it comes to programs, events, and activities at the Harold Washington Cultural Center. Our partnership with the Performance Arts Readiness Program has gained us access to the Pocket Response Resource. Now, this is a big deal because the Responsive Packet Resource is a free document that is phase 1 of the new and improved online readiness plan tool. We were a part of the original launch of this tool, and now we're kicking it up into high gear to ensure the safety of you, a patron of the arts. Now, this document, it is about the arts and cultural organizational preparedness for undertaking the safe reopening steps. It has certain elements for safety and security for visitors, artists, and crew and staff and volunteers. You can also find out more about this on our website, BroadwayInBronzeville.com. Now, while this resource is primarily envisioned for performing arts organizations, it's also a response for the operations of other types of programs and opportunities and institutions, museums, archives, and libraries. The PRRR is not a substitute for whatever emergency preparedness and readiness program your institution may have in place, but a supplement and a complement. Now, this pandemic has caused us to pause, pivot, and adapt. While we had to cancel our gala this past year, we look forward to 2021 moving full steam ahead. Our donors and our patrons of the arts want to be assured that we will be safe and responsible to the attendees and the students. Their donations have not stopped, and for that we are grateful. The donations have been able to allow us to have upgrades and continue with essential services here at the Harold Washington Cultural Center. Special thanks to Michael Sachs and Grosvenor, Mayman and Claude Powers of Powers & Sons, Highgate Technologies, Targeted Technology Solutions, as well as James Miller of Miller's Venture Capital. The list can go on and on. Attorney James Montgomery has agreed to join us again as the co-chair of our upcoming gala, and we thank him for that as well. The Harold Washington Cultural Center will be expanding our programs to offer more opportunities to arts partnerships here at the Harold Washington Cultural Center. So those organizations, individuals that need a space to shoot their virtual classes, to be able to have the socially distanced classes as we move from phase to phase, we are here for you. During the pandemic, we saw that there was absolutely a need to offer a fellowship as well as a scholarship program. And I stand here today to tell you in 2021 that shall come to fruition. We will work closely with Americans for the Arts in the Arts Ready program to develop certificates for our fellows so that they can go forward in their industry as industry leaders, closing the gap on diversity and inclusion in performing arts, media arts at every level. And we thank Americans for the Arts in the Arts Ready Project for that. Finally, in 2021, we will be launching a platform for independent artists, thespians, comedians, authors to be able to upload their materials and monetize it ultimately. We thank Highgate Technologies for this partnership in this development. In closing, we want to encourage you to put the Harold Washington Cultural Center under your tree to kick off your year and as a Black History Month salute. We are challenging each and every one of you to get a rising star by a donation starting as low as $100. Remember, subscribe to our social media, give us a like and a follow. We look forward to seeing you at the theater. Log on to BroadwayInBronzeville.com to see how you can get involved with our advisory committees as well as have your programs and operations here. And now, we'll be turning to the live chat room for our question and answer session. Thank you all for tuning in today. Let's get those questions going. First question. Now, we are so excited. Did you all enjoy that? Let's give it up. This is outstanding. So I have with me Mr. Arthur Barnes Jr.
Thank you.
Joining the question and answer session, giving you a little bit of background about Arthur Barnes Jr. I think we started with you at Hales Franciscan.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about your journey on your way through Broadway and Bronzeville.
Journey began far before I was born. I kind of feel like this was all set up way beforehand. Like you mentioned, Hales Franciscan. Well, when I had went to Hales Franciscan, it was already a 40-year-old school. So the whole Paramount connection that happened at Hales Franciscan that made any of this happen was already set up 40 years ago, and I wasn't even born yet. All right, so going into it, I knew all along that I wanted to be an actor, obviously, because, you know, as a kid, I would reenact different shows. There was this one show, Pacific Blue, where the police officers were on bicycles. And every day I'd wake up, routine, like it was my job. And I'm like a young kid, you know, second grade. I'd wake up, go get my shirt from my mom. She'd ironed it for me, showing that support. And I'd get my navy blue shorts on, go out ride my bike. And now I'm Pacific Blue cop. Later in life, I became a detective. Later, I was a firefighter. Soon after, I realized it's not that I want to be all of these professions. There's something that I like about having a piece of every profession. And the only profession that gets a piece of every profession professionally is an actor.
Well, it is my professional opinion that that is professionally awesome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
What I love about Arthur Barnes Jr. is that he can make you believe he's whatever character that is on the stage, but he is genuine in the way that he comes across when he brings the character to life. He's an authentic method actor. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the things you do to plan to get into character? You played everyone from Preach and Cooley High.
Yep.
You played Big Ed Jones,
Yep.
who
King
was a
of
tall,
policy.
light-skinned guy,
Yep.
Policy King, and everybody believed he was you.
That's right, that's right.
How do you prepare for these roles?
So for me, acting actually isn't about acting. Because, you know, you can always tell when someone's acting. Oh, he's acting, he's acting, he's acting. Acting for me is studying that character to find out who is this character. And when I understand who that character is, well, it kind of gets into that law of metaphysics that all is one as far as mentalism. So if we're all sharing the same mind, and you or me, and I'm this, and this, that, and the third, just a different version, well, essentially any character that I'm reading about, when I'm reading that script, that's me. I just got to figure out what part of me that is. So there was that one play that you had, Miracle on 47th Street.
Oh yeah, that was a hot one.
Richard Feldman.
Yeah.
I'm nothing like Richard Feldman, essentially. I'm a nice guy. But if I'm getting cut off in traffic, there's a part of me that says, hey, what are you doing? You know, this is mine. This is my lane. Yeah. And I'll step up and take it over. Yeah. You know, or if I'm at a bar or something like that, and you know, the guy can't get to me, then I step in and demand, you know. And so that part of me was always Richard Feldman. And Richard Feldman tried to become like me. So he tried to calm himself down. And so when I understood that about that character, well, now I'm not acting. I'm not pretending to be Richard Feldman. I'm being myself. So when you become that character and you're just being yourself, that's when it comes across more authentic to the audience.
Now, what I like about the authenticity, it's one thing that you touched on, that oftentimes when it comes into performing art, you don't capture the metaphysical. But it is authentically true, because you have to be able to transcend any energy that anything that might have happened prior to you walking in that door, walking on that stage, performing in that manner. When it comes to young people who say, this is something I want to do, but I don't think that I can do it, what is something that you would like for them to hear from you? Because we have some young people that are tuned in right now.
You know, it honestly comes down to realizing that, going back to metaphysics, the law of cause and effect. So for every cause, there's going to be an effect. So if you have a goal, and the goal is you want to be an actor or whatever it is, but since we're talking about acting, if your goal is to be an actor, then what does that mean to you is the first question. What does it mean to be an actor? Is it that you want to be a Hollywood actor and receive an Academy Award? Is it that you just want to be in a production and someone sees it and recognizes it? What does it mean that you want to be an actor? And when you understand that question, now you see that that's the effect. Well, what was the cause? So let's say, for example, I want to see myself on the red carpet. How did you get there? Oh, I was in a production. Well, how did you get there? Oh, well, I auditioned. Now you start to, you know, kind of reverse engineer the steps and realize the first thing I have to do is, hey, it all depends on where you are. So let's say you already are acting. Well, the first thing you have to do is audition. But let's say you've never acted at all. Well, the first thing you know you have to do is get those experiences in and develop that skill. So it's all about where you are and just taking that first step no matter what, and letting the law of cause and effect create that reality for you.
Absolutely. Now, if there is one thing that you want to leave with the people today, and about your experience being one of the leaders now, I mean, you've grown through the ranks at the Harold Washington Cultural Center, and now you are in a position of leadership when it comes to our Broadway in Bronzeville, as well as our Broadway Beyond Borders program. What would you like to let the people know about the importance of supporting the center and what the center has been able to do for you?
100% give that dedication to the center, because the center is always going to pour it back on. At least that was my experience. When I came and I made the sacrifice, you know what, I got rehearsal. Oh, but you got to, nah, I got to go to rehearsal. You know, I got to study my lines. Oh, but you got to, nah, I got to study these lines. Someone else might think, oh, but it's just a play, da-da-da-da. But in my head, well, you know what, they're providing a canvas for me to be who I want to be creatively. And me respecting that relationship poured it on to the point where I don't even know. I've been in New York for the first time, and then went several times after that. Not just to go, you know, people go just to go. I went, you know, and I went to go see who at the time used to be my favorite actor, became my second favorite actor when myself became my favorite actor. But it was Denzel Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And I seen him live. I met Anika Noni Rose right before she won a Tony. Then came back and did the play. Yes. And then, you know, I went back again, and this time I'm performing on stage at the same time that my second favorite actor is performing on stage. All these experiences, showing up downtown to a shoe store, just moments before they close, and they say, oh, yeah, let him in. He was at Jim Alita's wedding. You know, seriously, yeah. These kind of things, ongoing experiences, going and perform in front of a London audience, Bahamian audience, a Parisian audience. These are experiences that you hear about on TV, but I really got to do it because I dedicated to the theater, and the theater saw that and poured it back on me. So definitely give it in.
Let's give it up for Arthur Barnes Jr.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Arthur, I want you to bring one of your colleagues on. Kylie, come on. You can pass the mic. Please make sure I get some of these questions in from the chat, because we want to make sure that you all, and go that away. Thank you. Exit that away. All right. It's great. make sure you like, share, and follow
Absolutely.
the Harold Washington Cultural Center,
Yes, yes.
our YouTube channel. This is going to be live, and it's going to be up for you all to do more things with it as we move on. Kylie,
Yes.
that was a powerful piece that you gave. Let's give it up one more time for Miss Callie Allen Also Brown.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it.
Now that piece,
Yes.
you talked about 3 gentlemen.
Yes.
Let me see, William Henry Brown,
Correct.
James Brown,
Correct.
and William Wells Brown.
Correct.
Now, these men had to come through a lot of adversity during the 1800s to do the things that they were working on.
Oh boy. Yes. Yes.
And being
yes.
a Brown yourself, that's some lineage.
Yes.
That's something.
Yes, absolutely. I shall take all credit for all Brown wonderful things. I shall.
Tell me, what was your first experience like when we went abroad with our Broadway in Bronzeville Beyond Borders?
Ooh, mercy. Okay, well, first of all, I had not been very far beyond the borders of Chicago. So even thinking about going to New York was not even in the forefront of my mind. It really was truly a blessing, not just to go to the city of New York, but to walk along Broadway, to look at all of the musical marquees, to walk through the streets and get all of the energy from everyone in that city. And I was blown away. Absolutely blown away. It is something I could never really put into true words. This is not even enough to explain it.
So what was the first time? Now, you were one of our performers that were more seasoned when they got into the whole theater world on the professional side.
Yeah.
Tell me what it was like when you first began performing. What was your first stage live performance? What year?
Okay, actually, this is my 3rd year anniversary as an actor.
Let's give it up for Kylie. 3 years.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. And to be able to say that and say I've been on Broadway within that time limit.
Yes.
Ooh. That's a lot to carry on your shoulders.
You went to London.
Oh, yes, I did.
And in London, the family of Meghan Markle came to see the show, and members from the royal family were there.
Yes.
And you put on an amazing performance. You were you Rosie, Roxy? Which one were you?
I was Roxy Reynolds.
Roxy Reynolds
Yes.
of the Reynolds sisters of the Policy Queens and the Policy
Absolutely.
Kings. Tell me more about what that experience was like to have a sold-out show in a country you've never been to.
Ooh, oh my, it was phenomenal. Just to be able to go there, to be able to express myself through my art.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And then to have the people, like, they sucked it up.
Yes.
They sucked it up. And then when we got to meet everyone afterwards and everyone was going through the lines, they were still laughing as they came to talk to me. They almost couldn't say the word.
I know.
And that felt so great.
Yes.
It felt so great, and it was great to be a part of the family of the actors that were a part of this ensemble. Phenomenal. And so
you
yes,
are an amazing
great.
champion when it comes to performing artists and being able to balance mental health.
Absolutely.
And being able to use art as therapy and healing. Sometimes grief counseling, knowing when you can identify, well, we might need to bring, don't fire, she's having a moment. You are able to identify that. You've been a gem to us. When I'm like, man, that girl crazy. Yes, she is, but you can't say that. She is not crazy. She's just off her meds. Now, I know we live, we can't edit it, but no, seriously, we've had situations where Kylie has saved some people's jobs. Like, hey, no, that's a situation, and this might be the one thing that's keeping them alive, because depression is real.
Absolutely.
And right now we're dealing a lot with the whole COVID thing and people being alone. And even before that, tell me about the importance of being able to embrace a fellow actor when you know they're going through things, getting them to be able to know that they need help. Didn't have you led the way with that a lot?
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience from someone who suffers from a mental illness. So you're able to recognize right away when somebody is having an unusual moment.
Unusual. Okay. Yes. An unusual moment. Got it. Note to self. I'll take the notes.
Absolutely, absolutely. But as creatives, being on stage is like it's therapy. Yes. It's like anything that's inside you that you couldn't get out before, you can now push out into an entire character, but you don't have to worry about your mama and your daddy worrying about you know, how that is. So, but yes, it's been nice to be able to embrace other creatives that are just like me, that are having so many thoughts and creative ideas in their head that they don't know how to slow them down, but you don't have to slow them down when you're on the stage.
Now, this is what I love. Now, her mother, I'm going to say is one of our biggest fans. She transitioned this year, right? She transitioned this year, but she did not, she had every single playbill for every show that we ever did. And this is my baby is a star, and we were all your mother's babies.
Yes.
Tell me how your mother felt about you on this journey and the things that you were doing prior to her transition. Share that with us.
Absolutely. She was so proud because no one actually in my family, in my immediate family, had traveled. So, and definitely hadn't traveled to perform, you know, and so it was just wonderful to even be able to show her the stamps on my passport. She went over them with me. All of the cast would sign all of her playbills and things like that. And she'd be the toughest little old woman going to dialysis, going, listen, my baby on Broadway. I need y'all to come and look at everybody sign. So, you know, everybody, and this is her name on the playbill. And I need everybody to come on and look. And this is what they're doing.
Yes.
You know,
in
the city.
Right now. I feel her energy right now. And I know one thing she is definitely proud of is the fact that you are now working with younger aspiring artists and writers in your artist residency program and a number of schools in the poetry program. Tell us more about that and how you got involved in that.
Absolutely, because actually poetry is where I started being dramatic. Okay. So when I would get on stage to perform my poetry, it was a way of telling my stories once again and getting it out. And so I would meet a lot of young people along the road that were having some of the same issues, especially now during the pandemic. They're not able to really socialize. So they don't know what to do with all of this pent-up energy and these thoughts in their head and trying to, you know, just weave through television and not being able to be social. So I would talk to them and I would tell them, this is how you heal from this. This is how you figure out what your next step is. And we learn words. We listen to music, we write, and they get the chance to decide whether or not they want to read, recite, or perform their poetry. And I make sure that they come to the Harold Washington Cultural Center and experience things that they wouldn't experience normally.
Kylie Brown paying it forward, Let's give it up for Kylie Brown.
Thank you.
And now passing the mic to our artistic director of the Harold Washington Cultural Center, the founder and CEO of Mad Rhythms, Mr. Brill Barrett. Let's give it up for Brill.
I just wanted y'all to see that the mask, you know, coordinated with the shoes.
Because those that perform in the world of tap always are conscious of their shoes. Brill.
Yes.
We've known each other for many years. Since before I was a young woman in high school even. We go back before your muscles. Back in the 1900s.
I believe it was at before the building was physically on the spot.
Yes.
Your dad used to do a festival.
Yes, the Bring It On Home to Me Roots Festival.
That's right.
My dad and my mom. My dad was a musical director. My mom was a producer. Let's give it up for the Bring It On. My dad's in the building. You can't see him. He's off camera, but he is here. He's here. Dr. Jimmy Tillman's in the building. So let's talk more about that. Let's unpack that.
Well, I remember even then, people always wanted to know why me and my cousin, who we used to tap dance together at the time, were going to a blues festival. They're like, y'all don't listen to the blues. But coming up as tap dancers, we was trying to go get on anybody's stage. If there was a show, we were going to go and get on that stage.
So tell me, why is it important to continue those opportunities like you had as a young person for the next generation? Because I know you had my niece when she was elementary, and now she's in college, and now she is leading young people the way you've taught her. Why is it important to you for places like the Harold Washington Cultural Center to exist and to continue to thrive?
Well, let me put it into this perspective. I'm born and raised on the west side of Chicago, North Lawndale community, not known for a lot of great and positive things, but it was the art form, tap dance, that my mom got me into, and the cultural center, the community center that she sent me to, where I studied the art form. So fast forward, the culture center itself, the importance of it is that's where our children, our babies, get access to the arts. Yes. A long time ago when I started teaching tap, a lot of our young children in our community didn't want to do it because they didn't see it on TV. It wasn't on their most popular YouTube videos, so they were like, it's not cool. But now, fast forward, now we have, like you said, your niece is now an instructor. We have the younger siblings, and now we're to the point where even some of what used to be students, their children, they're bringing their children now for classes. So it's generational. And as long as we keep sharing and pushing that generational transference of power and energy and talent and skills and awareness, then that's how we keep evolving our community.
Let's talk about some of the other programs in the building. Name the programs that we have and who runs and operates them, and because we have our arts residency programs.
Yes, so our arts partners in residence. You came up with many years ago now the idea of arts partners versus anybody that will come and rent a space from you. When people rent a space, they don't think of it as theirs. But an arts partner is someone who comes in, brings in their expertise, but also brings in a knowledge and a responsibility for the space that we all share. So Mad Rhythms, proud to be one of Harold Washington Cultural Center's oldest arts partners.
The original. You and Kim K. Tyler are kind of tied.
Yeah.
I don't know who came first. It was close. It was close.
Yeah. But so and it's funny that people that come there and have seen where we started, like when we used to rent one room on the second floor, to now there's an entire arts center inside the cultural center that people are proud of. That entire second floor is beautiful. You talked earlier in the state, the address that you gave about the dance studios, and then we've got beautiful art on the walls, and it's just a place where the young people can come and feel like it's top notch. Yes. Our children deserve what every other child from every other community deserves. So with that being said, we have the Sammy Dyer School of the Theater.
And this is their what year?
This is now 87
years old, one of the oldest institutions for theater and performing arts, and we're very proud to be home of Sammy Dyer. Continue.
That's right. Miss Muriel Foster, who studied under the Sammy Dyer, the namesake of the school, who had the Dyerettes and then the Vashinettes, and then so these are vaudeville greats. They toured with Nat King Cole and Sammy Davis Jr., and they were the opening act. So this is the legacy that we house inside the Harold Washington Cultural Center. Many a day you can come in and find the kids just kind of sitting around Miss Foster's desk as she tells stories about Sammy Davis Jr. having a greasy conch and landing on her shoulder in the car on the way to a show, and she told him, "Get your greasy head off my shoulder." And he couldn't believe that she talked to him, the Sammy Davis Jr., that way. And she said that his father loved it because it helped keep him down to earth.
I love it. Let's tell us more about some of the other partners.
Okay, so some of the other partners we have, let's see, who do I want to mention? DMX Dance Company, and they bring Steppin', which is a Chicago thing. I through my travels, I've often had to defend the fact that Steppin' is ours. In Detroit, they try to say they created it. No. Chicago, right? So we have DMX Dance Company, directed by Dave Max. Then we also have the Happiness Club and Blue Rhythm Crew, which is directed by Tangi Harper, and they're a great group of young people, and they fill that building with the sounds of joy and laughter and discipline and dance.
We would be remiss if we do not mention your younger sister. I want to say little sister, but it's kind of one of those things where you say little. Because my brother earlier today, I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but when you take a look at the live or play it back, he was like, "Well, my little sister." I'm like, hey, your little sister Star. She's been all over the world. She's an amazing, accomplished performer, and oftentimes she just, she plays the number two. She's the best wingman ever in terms of the art. She keeps the to build. Like I would never have a problem turning over keys to her whenever we have to do things.
Mm-hmm.
She's planning our Kwanzaa event that's coming.
That's
up.
right. That's right. 7 days of Kwanzaa, and we're going to take each day, and one of the arts partners of the building, we're going to all, as a community, highlight them.
Yeah.
So we're going to take turns being positive and highlighting each other, and that's something you don't see a lot of. Yeah. And again, that's the spirit of the building. But yeah, Star Dixon is directing our Kwanzaa event, and this will be her second event that she's directing. So I'm now moving her up into that type of role, directorship and leadership.
Let's give it up for Star. Reed, come on. Yep. And the final thing that I want to touch on, because we appreciate everyone for tuning in and everyone for being here today, is the fact that your mother
Mama Rhythms.
Mama Rhythms. She is the sweetest lady to make sure that you sign in, you get your community service, you be where you're supposed to be. She don't miss nothing. She might like. So let's talk more about your mother. Your mother pretty much raised all of us. She's like, so my mom, your mom. It's like it's a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah.
The way that they worked with us to allow us to do the things we're doing. Let's talk a little bit about your mom.
First of all the children, Mama Tillman and Mama Rhythms. That's the way they refer to the two matriarches of the family, of the center. But my mom, she always wanted to be in arts and entertainment, but wasn't able to. So she put me into it. And she, through her working hard and making sure that I had what I needed, I grew, and then I hired her. And was like, you know what, now I need you to come work for me. Yes. And so it's funny when people come in and they say, oh, that's the boss. And I go, yep, she sure is. She sure is. But it's also cool that I could turn around and say, Mom, I want to bring you on. And she does what she loves. She talks to people. Again, and her new skills that she's added to what you just mentioned, she's now good at taking temperatures, making sure you're wearing your mask and wearing your gloves. And if she catches you more than not 6 feet apart, she's going to have a nice problem with it.
And one final thing. So now we're touching on that. So at the Harold Washington Cultural Center, we're utilizing our dance and our performing arts as a way to maintain a fitness regimen for our young people, similar to if they were to be working out at a gym. We're utilizing dance.
Yes.
And we also utilize dance and performing arts as a way to have our circle time. And Kylie touched a little bit on it about art therapy.
Art therapy.
Let's touch on a little bit about how we do circle time with them at the Harold Washington Cultural Center.
Well, it's funny. Sometimes you will walk in, when you could walk in. But you will walk in and you see this is a dance class, but everybody's in a circle talking. And sometimes people are like, why aren't they dancing? And it's a habit that before we start anything physical activity, we get our community, our social emotional learning skills together, and we connect and we talk. And sometimes it's just to ask young people, how was your day? Yeah. A lot of our young people from certain underserved or undersourced communities are seeing tragic violence on a day-to-day basis, and sometimes people never just ask them how you feeling, how you doing. And so we made that a habit. Before we start dancing, we get some things out. And sometimes they'll get it out and then they'll dance through it. And you'll watch the process happen in front of you. And you'll go, that's beautiful. So for a lot of them, dance is not only exercise and it's fun and it's a way out, but it literally is therapy and it's a lifesaver.
Bro Barrett, Mad Rhythms, respect the dance.
Thank you.
I want to bring Reed. I need you to come now. You're supposed to be coming as he's leaving. What are you doing? She has to make a grand entrance. Reed, let's give it up for Reed. Now, Reed's going to be adding a new element to the Cultural Center very soon. So Reed deals with speech pathology. She has her own company, Salamander. Salamander Park Initiative. And currently she deals a lot of asynchronous and synchronous online education with her students who are required for various services that you give. Tell us more about Salamander and what it does. I need you speaking to the mic.
Salamander Park Initiatives actually works to provide, a platform, if you will, for our brown and black students to make them aware of literacy, the importance of it for education, for a livelihood, for a future, and to actually be a person of color, a mother, and someone that wears multiple hats as a speech pathologist and someone who's in the trenches in the fight with the public education system, to let them know that it matters, they matter, education matters, and this is what we need to propel us into the future. What I love about the way that you approach your work and your life's work
and I'm not looking at it from a perspective of the career that you have and what you do on a day-to-day basis, but the compassion that you take to the whole part of the student in the family and the services that you seek out to provide. You'll say, well, listen, this is an anonymous tip, but we're going to need to figure out a way to extract such and such and such a with the least amount of mitigated risk. Like, you really, really care. With getting so vested in the students, how do you keep your sense of balance and keep your sense of self within that matter?
It is actually a question I have for you as well, because of all that you do, because you too do that as well, and you make it look very easy. It is a daily struggle. I pray. I have a great support system to definitely keep me grounded. I do get frustrated. I am a human being, but sometimes I actually remove myself from the equation, and I often tell myself that I'm here for the kids because that's why I'm doing this.
Yes, and that's why we're partnering up. Reed's going to be one of our first, under the new regime, the way we're going to be rolling out our artist residency program. See, artist residency program isn't just for those that are in media and performing arts, but it's those that are encouraging, that are engaging our young people at every level and facet. You may have heard us mention earlier, we have 3 levels that we're going to be expanding into in 2021. Our arts residency program, our fellowships, as well as our scholarships for students. The great thing that Reed brings to the table is not only is she able to work with our young people, but she's able to work with those who have to work with young people. You'd be surprised at how many adults have issues and matters with being able to balance. And it's not just speaking about having a lisp or a speech impediment, it's the whole level in the gambit of communication. Let's unpack that part and the importance of being able to communicate as an integral part of your human character.
Absolutely. Being able to express yourself and just represent yourself on a daily basis, be it a personal level, a social level, absolutely, in the business level, and trying to get down in corporate America and survive out here, that can make or break you. People's lives change based on how they fare in an interview and how you come across in an interview, or maybe express yourself through your resume. It's like, do we want that job, or are you going to go in the permanent recycle bin, you know? So depending on how a particular person presents themselves on a particular day can make their future one way or another.
And why are you proud to now be working with the Harold Washington Cultural Center as we're transitioning safely, as we're following the guidelines, as we're looking at the phases move along, and you're helping us with a lot of the planning of things that we're doing across the board? What does it mean to you? You're one of the new kids on the block for us. What does that mean to you to be a part of the Harold Washington Cultural Center family?
It is actually an honor. It's actually a blessing to be included, to be considered, to be thought of as someone that could bring something to the table, to partner with someone as illustrious as yourself in all that you're doing. But to be a part of history and to know that, you know, you are a global cornerstone in every effort and endeavor that you are pursuing, things that you have done, what you're building upon, and to just even know that if I just have a little pinch, a little piece of that and have touched someone's life, then I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Salamander, Reed, give them, how can they find and follow? We're gonna be putting the link, all the links will be on BroadwayandBronzeville.com. Make sure you like, follow, and share. But if there are some that need services right away, because we know we're gonna be blowing up with that question. Salamander, do you have an Instagram for Salamander?
I do not.
Okay, that's okay. You know what? Follow the Harold Washington Cultural Center. We're gonna post everything you need to know about Salamander. Give it up one time for Reed.
Thank you.
Reed, you can leave the microphone in the seat. I'm gonna bring someone next, and after this, we're done. We're gonna let you go, but it is important to bring one of our sponsors that are here today. Well, we got a couple in the room, but one that I'm going to bring today that rarely gets behind the camera. I mean, in front of the camera, because they're making sure that this is happening. We started together when I first opened my very first business, which was a coffee house, the Spoken Word Cafe. And he was responsible for the internet cafe at the Spoken Word Cafe. Before it became popular, I had computers and all of this. I think I was like 17 years old, going on 18. running a business, and he was like, look, girl, what are you doing? I'm like, don't even worry about what I'm doing. Just trust the process. And he said to me the other day, he says, well, Jamelita, you're still the same person, but you're not, which is a great testament to who you are and your character, who your parents are. I want to bring Stephen Matthews to the stage right now. Stephen, I need you to come to the stage because we want to talk about this new platform. Somebody else needs to be manning the levels on the screen. Make sure it doesn't go out, because I just need you briefly. We're going to talk a little bit about this platform. Have a seat. Have a seat. And then we're going to feed you my in-studio audience who is socially distanced here. Give it up for yourselves. Give it up for the shoes. All right. Stephen Matthews. Oh, God. I know he's counting. See, he's always so serious. Tell us the name. It's always Highgate Business Solutions.
Close.
Highgate Management Business.
No.
Highgate Management Solutions.
Bingo.
Boom. I know
you get to move to the head of the class. Highgate Management Solutions is an organization where we align technology solutions to match business requirements. No matter what business that you're in, you need an attorney, an accountant, and have me tell it, the IT person. Also known as a geek, also known as a computer guy. We go by many names. But we align technology solutions. There's a lot of technologies out here available in the marketplace. And as a business owner, your job is to know your business. My job is to know what technology solutions are available in the marketplace and know how to apply them and deliver them to meet the expectations of your business requirements for your company, which in turn will make you more successful, more effective, more efficient at the end of the day. And that's what Highgate Management Solutions does.
Highgate Management Solution is an amazing accomplishment. They bring over 30 years of experience together with their whole team that have come together. Is that accurate? Your team, that is it 30, 40 kids? You getting up there, Steve. But they bring decades of experience to the technology solutions. And what we're really excited about is this platform that we're working on. We're working on it with a team of young people, as well as those that are seasoned within technology, so that as we're transitioning back into what we call the regular normal, how we can go beyond and expand beyond. And the platform that we're looking at is not just for performing artists or comics or just speaking. It's every way to monetize something that you've got to say to somebody else, with a split, be it with our nonprofit organization or a designated nonprofit organization. We will be a platform to help your organization win, your artists win, as the Harold Washington Cultural Center continues to flourish. Let's touch a little bit on some of the things that we can possibly expect with the interface. Don't talk about any back office proprietary. I'm sure you know not to say that because you're a tech guy. But let's talk about some of the things that we're looking to do with this platform that we're going to be announcing the name of in the spring. Carry on.
All right. Again, we align technology solutions to match business requirements. In this case, we all know about the Jay-Z's and the Beyoncé's and the top tier, artists that are household names. We all know they are not the only talent out here in the universe. So what kind of platform, what kind of technology that will allow you, with your individual talents and expertise, to get to that level? And that's where we will provide a platform or tool. The same resources that they have available to them will be available to you as an artist, as a creative type, as a person with a political view or a certain life perspective that needs to be shared with the world. And technology will allow that right now. Through the internet, there's nothing that you don't know. There's nothing you cannot access via the internet. But the difference is, how are they going to know about you? You're competing against the whole world right now. It's not just you in your little backyard or your neighborhood, or you sing real good at your church or at your school, but how is the world going to know about you? How are they going to know? Well, through this technology, through this platform, we will give you the same access and level of awareness. So right now, at the end of the day, if you're good at it, the world will know. We'll make it available to the world and let the world decide what's truly talent and what's
needs to be further developed. Let's give it up for Highgate and Steve. You're going to learn more about him on BroadwayandBronzeville.com. Another one of our business partners in the community, a black man, black team, doing some amazing things. We have some questions. You can take that mic on with you, and you can go make sure that there's no more feedback. Now, some of the questions that have been coming in through my non-inner ear monitor has been, what are we going to do to assist those within the Park District Arts programs. Whereas, and many of you all know that are watching now that may be here, that all of the Park District programs are all shut down 100%. And I think that touches over 400 teaching artists, artist residents that need a home. Yes, the fellowship program that we are launching and the arts partnership program that we are launching will be able to filter through and accommodate a rotating calendar for those artists that need a home. And as they prepare to transition back into their own home or back into their Park District or their original location, we'll work out a continued partnership for them to be able to have some sort of, even if it's monthly, activity with us, even as things begin to open back up. We had another question that came in from the Chicago Dance Makers Foundation about being able to work with those who may not be on the level of teaching quite yet. They're still in the process of developing their bodies of work and it's not ready for production just yet. They need space to be able to workshop and build it out. At the Harold Washington Cultural Center, we're very proud of our Performing Arts and Arts Ready program, where we have a deep cleaning, sanitation, and emergency preparedness plan through the Arts Ready program. You're able to learn more about that on BroadwayInBronzeville.com. And then also coming next week, we're going to have a survey about returning back to live entertainment to help us navigate our way back as a venue, as a producer, as a production company, as a production house, as a presenting house, as well as for our artists, finding that safe way in that safe space back as the levels and phases ebbs and flows and changes. We have to prepare and we have to continue to think on a global level while still supporting our local initiatives. The Harold Washington Cultural Center, we are here for you. We are a beacon of light right here in the heart of Bronzeville, 4701 South King Drive, in the heart of Chicago's historic Blues District. We have serviced over 25,000 youth per year, and now that number can implicitly grow because that's just in Chicago. But now with virtual and e-learning, we're just going to kick it up a notch. Some people use the pandemic to shut down. We're using it to press forward, and we're very proud, and we thank our board of directors, our generous donors. We want to send a shout out to CIBC, Sharon Troop, and Ramona Brooks, and let's give it up for CIBC. They made a generous donation to us this summer that enabled us to host these series and these fireside chats and things to move forward. But we're looking forward to getting back to business. We are a major proponent of the Save Our Stages campaign through our legislators. We want to thank Alderman Stephanie Coleman. We want to thank at the local level Alderman Walter Burnett. We want to thank at a local level Alderman Rod Sawyer. At a local level Alderman David Moore. And then at a state level Cam Buckner and Senator Maddie Hunter, and a lot of things that we had to navigate with some of these grants, such as the big grant. And we'd be remiss if we did not thank our Congressman Danny Davis, who's fighting very hard to ensure that venues are able to receive funding for upgrades and safety improvement, operation, and all of that. Let's give it up for those that are in leadership that are supporting. If you would like to donate to the Harold Washington Cultural Center, you can log on to BroadwayInBronzeville.com or call 773-373-1900. However, if you want to do something in person, we're with Self-Help Seaway. We're with Seaway Self-Help, a division of Self-Help Federal Credit Union. Shout out to April Snow. I think that I touched on everything. Ebony, who's here, who's my producer, is there any other questions, any other things? Is anything I didn't, is anything in the chat group that they're like, ask my question? Anybody in the chat? Because you know we're going to be... I think, okay, well, listen, if we didn't get a chance to answer your question today, we will make sure that your question get answered in the archives. But make sure you like, share, and follow. We do have our new STEAM program. Wait, Don B, do we have a question out there? Will you show me a phone?
How can community members continue to support HWC?
Actually, I did, but I'm going to answer it again. There is the Rising Star program. Then we got Don B. Don B, we got celebrities in the house. I don't want to shout out the names because people be telling people they don't come outside, but they come out for me. But yes, we do. We have, you can donate directly at Seaway Self-Help. They're on 35th in King Drive. Or you can mail your donation in, or you can go to PayPal or to BroadwayInBronzeville.com. If you follow our social media, we will be posting immediately following information for how you can donate. Join our monthly subscriber. Well, we'll be doing some online virtual shows privately for those that are in our producer circle of friends. But we want to encourage you. Top of the year, don't just put us under the tree. Start your year off Black History Month, celebrate women, bunny hop, whatever it is. Give us $100 every month so that we can continue to grow these programs and the technology. Donna, are there any other questions from the chat group?
No, Audrey loves every minute of it.
Let me tell you something. We love Audrey too, and we love all of you. I thank everyone that came out today. We're going to be having our gala in May. We're going to be announcing that. Also in the winter, we will be announcing some of the new advisory board members as we're expanding programming and some of our long-term foundational stances so that we're able to be a grant-making organization assisting other arts organizations to continue to thrive. People are sitting here ready to eat. They're sitting in masks on their face. We want to thank you all again. Log on to BroadwayInBronzeville.com or call 773-373-1900. Give us a like and an ad.